Now, the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has denied reports making the rounds online that it has banned Indomie instant noodles, assuring Nigerians of their safety while consuming the locally produced Indomie instant noodles. The regulatory body said on Monday through its Director General, Professor Mrs. Mojishola Adeye, said, and I quote, NAFDAC did not ban Indomie instant noodles produced in Nigeria. You hear that? They did not ban Indomie instant noodles produced in Nigeria. However, NAFDAC has registered several local manufacturers and the Indomie noodles have been certified safe for consumption. The Taiwan and Malaysia noodles have nothing to do with our local producers. End quote. The statement offers assurance to consumers who have been exposed to a series of misleading publications that the product was banned by the regulator. The flood of local publications came up after the alleged detection of ethylene oxide, a cancer-causing substance found in Indomie's special chicken flavor in Taiwan and Malaysia by health officials in both countries. But in Nigeria, widespread consumption of public food is commonplace, with instant noodles being a staple. The oils used to fry roadside food could also put consumers at risk today. Now on the show, we want to take a look at the safety concerns that should not be ignored when grabbing a snack or trying to have a whole meal in public place. And in order for us to extemporate that, we have in the studio Dr. Olatunji. Right? Did I get that right? Olawale Olatunji. Thank you very much for coming on the program this morning. So 2 days ago, when this information came out concerning Indomie instant noodles, everybody fear catch everybody. It's Indomie because everybody eats noodles. I eat Indomie as well. You know, it's a staple food, easy to prepare, and just solve that hunger pang. Then when this came up, a lot of persons did not understand. And after Gigi said the particular batch should be recorded from the store's investigation on that particular or testing on the noodles in question will commence yesterday. Let me tell you what happened. I got home, saw that my mommy bought Indomie noodles. I shouted, don't eat it all. They say it has this one, this one, this one. She says it's a lie. I say it's true. I will not lie to you. We put it inside dustbin. You understand? Now, we were afraid. I hope we don't throw that back away. So question now is, this particular noodles that is in question, I think it's good that we have the NAFDAC officials trying to look into it. But is that staple food actually safe?
Now, before you respond, let's also invite John Akirili, who's joining us virtually. Okay. Good morning to you, John.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Good to have you here.
Good morning,
John. Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. Instant noodles is the general name. And Indomie is a brand, but in Nigeria we call everything Indomie. We even the NAFDAC officials are still even confusing themselves, saying Indomie or instant noodles. But instant noodles is in Nigeria is one of the most consuming countries of instant noodles in the world, because the rate at which you take instant noodles is actually very high. And the product they're talking about is ethylene oxide. Ethylene oxide was discovered in Taiwan and Malaysia, I think Malaysia and Taiwan. And this thing ethylene oxide is very, very detrimental to health, because they felt that the substance can cause cancer. Why are they talking about this substance causing cancer? Because this substance is actually very, very good in breaking DNA. It can break any DNA. It's used in disinfection. They can use it in hospitals to sterilize hospital equipment. So that's why they feel that a substance that can actually break any DNA is actually prone to cause cancer. Meanwhile, ethylene oxide has not been found in any noodles produced in Nigeria. Because instant noodles, Indomie noodles is actually an Indonesian company, but they have locally produced Indomie in Nigeria. They've stopped importation of noodles for like several years ago from Indonesia. So we have locally produced Indomie in Nigeria from, they have a company in Ogun State, we have a company in Port Harcourt, they have one in Kaduna, I think. So instant noodles normally is safe for consumption. If the NAFDAC are going to check for this ethylene oxide, because I know they've not been checking for this ethylene oxide in every food. But if they check and they see that it's safe for consumption, then it's safe for consumption.
All right, let me ask John now. John, I know you're not a medical practitioner, but how do you respond to the fact that it took a report coming in from Malaysia and Taiwan, drawing attention to a harmful substance in noodles for NAFDAC to say, okay, let us look at this. I mean, we've had people complain over time about noodles. There have been reports. I don't know how founded they are, but we've had reports about, oh, the seasoning of noodles is harmful. It increases blood pressure. It does one thing or the other. Now, nobody has come out. SON hasn't come out to say, oh, well, there's a problem here. Nobody has said anything. And all of a sudden, NAFDAC is responding right after a report came from outside the shores of Nigeria. What do you make of this? Proactiveness.
All right, thank you for having me. Good morning to all of our viewers all over the globe. Let me start on this leg that ethylene oxide can be classified under the group of food additives, okay, or preservative substance. And if you check, almost every food component will have one of these chemical components or chemical compounds. One is to preserve. So if you check most of your canned foods, they have some of these chemical compounds in them for preservation. You also have some of them with silica, okay, that will help you preserve the food substance as it is sealed in that regard, okay. But on the other hand is that Nigeria is just, to me, a joke. And why I say that is because ordinarily we should have a routine health check for all of our consumables. But the question you and I should ask now is this: how often do this routine check come up? Now, it takes Taiwan and Malaysia to give us a kick in the butt for us to say, oh, now we want to do our own check, okay? So the question we should ask ourselves now is, what is Standard Organization of Nigeria doing? What are our custom services doing? Because if you say that they do their random sampling and they get to find out that this sample or this particular chemical compound is in this consumable food, then the question to be asked is, how did this get into the country? Now, let's not miss the point that these are big companies. They have their manufacturing plants in Nigeria, but because they want to explore the vulnerability of the country or the system as a whole, they can also bring in such a component, okay? Because they know that Nigeria, anything and everything goes. If you're able to settle your gas at the top, you are good to go. So these are checks that I think should have come in place. And we shouldn't even wait until other health body or health agencies from other countries, give an alarm or raise an alarm before we stand up to do what we want to do. Another thing I think they ought to do is to sensitize the public, okay? If you have a manufacturing plant, you look at what they are manufacturing, educate the people or the consumers on the importance and the disadvantages of consuming this food in excess or in large quantity. So let's take, for instance, that is where your food pattern comes in. That is where your wellness ethics comes in. That is where your variety, how you can garnish this that you take in, and you reduce the frequency of your intake as to instant noodles is concerned. Mind you, instant noodles is a staple food in Nigeria. If you go to the roadside, every night I can give you a statistic of about 50 people selling at least more than 2 cartons every night between 8 and 11 a.m. And that will tell you that a whole large number of people will consume these noodles. Now, this is what will happen. One is that in Nigeria, something goes faster than smoke, and that is fake rumor. So because people are not really sensitized, because they are not really educated, they are not really aware of what is right and what is wrong, they pick up the headline and then they start disseminating to every other person. Now, this will bring a drop in the price of this particular Indomie instant noodles, because that is the caveat, that is the name that is shown as banned. But mind you, we also have other companies that produce this same instant noodles. We have the likes of Honeywell, we have the likes of Chiki Chiki, and so many of them also who also produce instant noodles. So the question is, apart from ethylene oxide, how many of these chemical compounds are components of these same instant noodles that we consume that we know that it's not good for our consumption, but yet we have it in circulation? That is a question that I think Standard Organization of Nigeria and NAFDAC should ask. And I think they ought to be on their toes to make sure that they check everything that comes in through our border, they check everything that comes through our and to the market. If you say you have done your factory check, you have done, what about the market sampling check? Okay, go to Idumota market, go to Ingo market, go to Agege market, go to Okearin in Lagos Island. You have loads of different produce that come into the market every day and night. But the point is, who is checking them? Who is giving Nigerians the assurance that they can go ahead and consume this food in large quantity? Who is telling Nigerians the number of times you can consume this food in a week, in a month, or in a year? These are part of the education and awareness that I think we are lacking. And there is a disconnect between the agency and the people, the producers and the consumers, and that needs to be addressed.
All right, thank you, John. Doctor, here is another thing we also need to consider. Would I say, nutritious benefits of these noodles, because they are highly processed to have a longer shelf life. They seem to not have any nutritious benefit. They're high on fats, on calories, sodium, and they're also laced with artificial colors, which is, in this part of the world, we try to harmonize it where we add our own veggies and all of that stuff. But the question, could it be that we need to change our lifestyle, our eating lifestyle? Maybe due to the kind of work that we do, especially in a state like Lagos that is ever busy, you literally do not have time to take care of yourself. This particular staple food is a major in most homes. This is even beyond selling or going to buy this outside. In most homes, you come back home, you buy noodles. You're going out in the morning, you just prepare noodles. So the question now is, how do we try to sensitize ourselves, give ourselves the proper orientation to learn to eat properly, eat healthy, not rely on these foods that necessarily are not healthy for us to consume?
Thank you. You know, one of the major causes of this cancer or any lifestyle, any health condition is actually lifestyle, poor lifestyle living. We eat anyhow, we eat from anything, we just eat junk food. And this program should be the program from the Federal Ministry of Health, because they need to sensitize everybody from taking all this junk food, because junk food has actually been tested to have high risk of fat, cholesterol, bad for cholesterol, not all highly processed food, ultra processed food, because they want to make this food stay for longer. They process it. It's not only noodles. We have a lot of processed food, a lot of canned food. Several, when you go to the mall, you see a lot of canned food. Now, this processed food, we need to synthesize ourselves from eating healthy. Let everybody eat healthy, eat more vegetables, eat more fruits. All this canned food, fried food, pop-off, go to the junction, buy pop-off, buy buns. All these things are actually not good for the health. They are junk food, because most of this oil they use in producing these things are bad oils. Oil very high in cholesterol, but because we want to eat fast, we want to quickly eat, we eat.
Sorry to interrupt you now. How can one identify a bad oil? Because people go to the market to purchase some of these things, and they don't have money to buy, the ones in
Cauliflower oil.
Well, I don't want to mention names now, but they don't have, to have the big jerry can, the transparent one. They'll buy something in a nylon, or you just pour it into a bottle and they buy and take home.
That's very bad.
That's bad, yeah?
Very bad, because if you go to any mall or anywhere you want to buy oil, you see some of them, they write low cholesterol. Or some of them say no cholesterol at all. So those are one of they've tested those oil to be healthy. Cholesterol is actually good for the body. But there is bad cholesterol, there's good cholesterol. But when the cholesterol is actually too high, it's detrimental to the body, causes a lot of things, causes stroke, causes high blood pressure, causes that. But you understand? So bad oil, when you want to buy oil, it's best you go check your oil, check if it is oil that is having low cholesterol or even no cholesterol. It's very healthy. But most of this oil we buy in the market, we don't even know where they are from.
Whereby one cannot check if you're not buying in wholesale. Is there a way to look at the oil and tell, maybe from its viscosity?
The problem is that the market people, are actually not even helping matters.
Okay.
We have issues where they even mix these oils. They'll tell you this oil, they will bring the can for you, they will bring the jerry can for you. They say it's no cholesterol, but they know themselves that the oil inside is not the right oil. But when you even check it, you see some oil, most of it, when you even check, it's like, is this kerosene? Or is it, they are so light, they are very, so you know that this oil is actually adulterated. So our healthy living should be a thing to be looked into by the World Health Organization. Even the Federal Ministry of Health, we've been saying this thing that, okay, we should regulate the processing of foods, sugar, how much sugar do you put inside food? All these things should be checked into. And even we ourselves, we should check and not eating anyhow. Eat fruits, eat vegetables, healthy living, eating balanced diet now. People don't eat, but I can tell you, I don't know, even myself, I can't remember the last time I ate balanced diet.
Okay, we'll come to balanced diet. You will explain more about balanced diet in a bit.
Here is another interesting question I would like to ask you. The economic value of these products, especially most of these processed foods, instant noodles, for example, like I said, because it's a staple food, it has a high internally generating revenue, both for those who sell it and for those who buy. But is it possible to put a caveat, just like how you have for if you smoke cigarette or something, a caveat they put for those who smoke? Is it possible to put a caveat so if you buy it, it's at your own risk. If you constantly consume it, it's at your own risk?
Well, if you ask if there should be a caveat, I think that question should be pushed to our Federal Ministry of Health. Yeah. They understand better. They know all of these foods. They know all the constituents. They know all the chemical components of the food, and they know the importance of each of these chemical compounds that made up this food we are talking about here. And so they are in the best position to advise Nigerians about their consumption. Either they can do it twice in a week, or 3 times a week, or 3 times a month, or once in a month. These are health advice that should come from professionals. And we have all of them in the Federal Ministry of Health, even at the State Ministry of Health as well. We all have them. You know, we have a Commissioner for Health, and they know better, and they should be able to advise the citizenry on how they should go ahead to do their eating habits or their wellness, so to say. But the question I would like us to even look at is this. If you're talking about the oil and you're saying this oil is not good or this oil is bad, are we also looking at the fact that the consuming power of these people is extremely low? An average worker in Nigeria today goes home with 30,000 naira monthly salary as minimum wage. Now, if you go to the mall and you see the so-called good oil that is low on cholesterol or has no cholesterol, check the price tag. Then you ask yourself, how much of that or what fraction of the salary of that employee goes into buying of oil alone when you have other food that the person is going to buy? So when you look at the standard of living of Nigerians, also look at their take-home pay. Is their take-home pay able to give them a balanced diet on the table? That's a question mark, and that question is rhetorical. The government and the people can answer this question for themselves. Somebody who earns 30,000 naira cannot have balanced diets with 3 children, with 2 children, husband and wife, making 4. A family of 4 on 30,000 naira monthly can never have balanced diets. And so they will always look for alternatives, look for cheaper options, and in looking for cheaper options, you have them come across these different products, and then they come meet their woes, and they have all these other healing issues coming up from their consumption. So for me, I think Nigeria is not there yet. We can do better, and if truly we are sincere with ourselves, I think the onus is on all agencies across board, you know, National Orientation Agency, you know, Federal Ministry of Health, and we have other partnering bodies like UNICEF. They can come together and say, let's sensitize people about eating healthy living, and good wellness. I think that is the way to go for us.
All right, so sensitization is key now. Basically, we should even have billboards and signs saying, look, exercise daily, eat healthy. And, you know, not just telling people to eat healthy, give them options. Now, when I was growing up, we had a compound where you could plant things. In fact, we had pepper, we had vegetables, we had all sorts in the compound. If you needed to make a meal, you could easily just go pluck some scent leaf and, you know, things. And these things were natural, you know, so we could pluck them, make meals and eat. But today it's different. It's different. People rarely stay in homes where they could plant now. So you can't even have a mini garden in your neighborhood. And importation and movement of food condiments and all of that from one part of the country to another is being hampered by insecurity and other things. Now, a report conducted in 2019 said that Nigeria ranked 42 out of 195 countries with the highest rate of diet-related deaths, with low intake of whole grains being the leading dietary risk factor for mortality and diseases in Nigeria. Well, we also do have countries like United States, India, Brazil, Pakistan, Russia, Egypt, and the rest of them, in that. But we've also seen this is further decreasing life expectancy in Nigeria. Lagos in particular. Somebody said they spent 3 hours in traffic going from Lagos to Akute, from the island to Akute the other day. So please help us. Break it down. What kind of diets can the common man come up with to be able to get what the body needs to survive daily?
Thank you. I'll agree with what Mr. John has said. The income of Nigerians cannot even make a balanced diet because to eat a balanced diet, you really don't need much money. But to eat well, to eat good food, you need at least, it's expensive because of the rate of inflation in the country. People no longer even, growing up, where, as I said, we have gardens, fresh food. Our fathers, our grandfathers, they go to the farm, they pluck what they want to eat and they make it and it's still fresh. But now, even now, to ordinary tomato, to make it grow up, they go through some artificial processing and everything. All these things are detrimental to our health. Balanced diet, we have carbohydrates, protein, fat and oil, water, minerals. All these things are balanced diet. But a whole meal, let me give you an example. If you're eating eba, now eba and vegetable. Now some people carry like a bowl of eba like this and a very little vegetable. Well, they will say it's balanced diet, but now your vegetable should be more than your carbohydrates because vegetable and fruits are actually very good for the health. Now you can eat eba. Eba is carbohydrates. Vegetable is your vegetable and fat and oil. Then making vegetable, you have oil. Making vegetable. Now water is there. Now protein is there too. Either fish or egg or yam or egg or so protein should be there. So just make sure that every of your meals should be
egg in soup.
Yes.
Yes.
I've been to Ghana. I've been to Ghana before. Ghana actually put egg in almost every
Okay, egg with egusi soup.
So to eat balanced diet is something it should be intimate, it should be intentional. But we've been so lackadaisical about it. We don't eat well again. Balance, you don't need to even get too much money to eat balanced diet. When you eat carbohydrates in the morning, eat fruit in the afternoon. Eat protein in the night at night. You also just make sure that you're not.
I was actually hoping you would break it down for me. You'll say, okay, buy vegetable of 500 naira. Yeah, you cook a lot. Vegetable of 500 naira. Oil might not be healthy, but just use the oil anyway.
Just make sure that every meal you are eating has almost all the 6 classes of food in the right proportion.
Okay. For the layman to understand.
Okay.
Break down examples of the 6 classes of food.
Affordable.
Okay. 6 classes of food. Let's not just say carbohydrates. Let's break it down to eba, yam, rice.
Okay. Okay, now, eba, rice, yam, bread, they're all carbohydrates, falls under carbohydrates.
Okay.
Now, the protein beans, milk, cheese, butter, egg, fish, meat falls under protein.
Okay.
Now fat and oil. Now we're talking about the oil the oil you use in producing ororo, epo, all this is butter has fat, a little bit of fat.
Okay.
Butter has a little bit of fat. Those are fat and oil. Then minerals. There's a mineral called mineral salt.
Not soft drinks.
Soft drink.
Not soft drink.
That's what we know as mineral.
Mineral salt. Now, actually, most of the spices you use in cooking, these things, they are the salt. Some of these things, thyme, all these things, actually part of it. Then water. Water is very, very important.
Essential.
Water is a balance. What makes it almost balanced? Water is very, very. Then vitamins. Vitamins We have fruits, vegetables. Fruits, vegetables are actually high in vitamins. So when you are eating any food, make sure that in your whole day, your food is balanced. Some people eat eba in the morning, in the afternoon they eat rice in the morning, in the afternoon they eat eba. At night they will say, what do we eat? Well, let's eat yam. So most of these things actually. So when I was talking about balanced diet, your food should be in the right proportion. All these classes of food must be balanced. One should not be more than the other. So it must be on a balanced way. Then after balanced diet, exercise.
All right then. Well, we can't go further than this. I wish we could.
We could, honestly. I wanted to ask me a question, but we're
I
out
must
of
say a
time.
big thank you to you for coming on the program.
Thank you.
Big thank you to Dr. Olawale Olatubi and John Akerele for coming on the program today. We do appreciate it.
Thank you.
Having me, the pleasure is mine.
All right then. Now let's go straight to business. In the world of business, the federal government has deducted over 78 billion naira from allocations made to states for external debt servicing. And this is according to data from the Federation Accounts Allocation Committee disbursement reports published by the National Bureau of Statistics. Now, the deductions were made in 2022 from the allocations given to state governments from the Federation account. The Federation account is currently being managed under a legal framework that allows funds to be shared under three major components: statutory allocation, value-added tax, distribution, and derivation principle. Well, VOP TV observed that the most hit state by the deductions was Lagos, with about 23.61 billion naira deducted in 2022 for external debt servicing. And it was followed by Kaduna with 10.25 billion naira deducted, and Cross River with 7.56 billion naira deducted. Now, about 4.27 billion naira, 2.74 billion naira, 2.62 billion naira, and 2.15 billion naira were deducted from Oyo, Rivers, Ogun, and Edo states, respectively. The organized private sector, comprising the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, the Nigerian Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, the Nigerian Employers Consultative Association, the Nigerian Association of Small-Scale Industries, and the Nigerian Association of Small and Medium Enterprises, has rejected the recently announced increase in excise tax. The hike on April 20, 2023, was reportedly signed by the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed. In a statement signed by the Director General, MAN, Segun Ajayi Kadiri, Director General Nasima Olushola Obadimu, Director General NECA Adewale Oyenride, Director General Ifeanyi Oputa, and Director General Nasi and AK Ubiji. The OPSN has called for an immediate reversal of the hike. It said the increase was unwarranted, ill-timed, and inimical to the Nigerian economy and the manufacturing sector in particular. All right, so that's about what we have in entertainment. Now to sports now.
In business, rather.
In business, thank you very much. We're coming to entertainment in a bit. But in sports, Barcelona beat Osasuna 1-0 to remain top of the La Liga table, while defending champions Real Madrid lost 0-2 to Real Sociedad. In the English Premier League, Arsenal rediscovered winning ways, defeating London City rivals Chelsea 3-1 to return to the top of the table. All right, and that's all with sports now. Let's get on with entertainment.
Moses, why did you do entertainment?
Because that's, I'm waiting for it.
Okay, so interestingly, you know how we do it right here on the entertainment segment. We get to give you updated on what's going on in the lives of some of the celebrities that we see on our screens. So Rema is set to perform at the O2 Arena in November this year. So the singer has joined the growing list of Nigerian acts performing at the famous arena. All right, now he announced the dates for his headlining concert at the O2 Arena in London. He shared the news of the must-see show at the 20,000 seated capacity stage, which is London's biggest entertainment destination earlier yesterday. Quite an interesting one. The concert is his only UK show of this year. It is his first back to London after his sensational performance at the O2 Brixton Sold Out concert featuring Fireboy, Victoni and Dave. Now, Rema's show comes after the release of Rave and Rose's Ultra, a deluxe version of his 2022 album Rave and Roses. The 22-track album features collaborations with Six Lack, Chris Brown, AJ Tracy, Wazut, and Selena Gomez. Since its release, the project has become the first African album in history to surpass 1 billion streams on Spotify.
That's a great achievement.
Yes,
indeed.
that's a very beautiful, great one. I'm so excited for Rema. Honestly, a lot of persons have not been able to attain that at such a young age in the industry. The next one is concerning Kata Efe, the popular skit maker on social media, Instagram, and he's trending on a video which came up concerning his experience on his late father. According to the skit maker, his dad's demise gave him more opportunity to chase his dream as a comedian. His statement about the demise of his father, given a little joy, however, didn't go down well with many netizens. And this is basically what happened. During an interview with Hip TV, he shared how his father's demise gave him that opportunity. And a lot of netizens said, okay, so what are you saying? Your dad's death is what gave you the opportunity to pursue your dream. Are you saying if your dad was alive, you wouldn't have had the opportunity to pursue your dream? And, a lot of reactions came down on that. And Kata Efe had to respond and say, hey, this is how it is for me, right? I am happy. I'm pursuing my dream. It's not about you. It's about me. So that's basically what he said. And then we also have Rihanna saying that she's enjoying her second pregnancy more than her first pregnancy. I think it happens like that for a couple of women. When
I wouldn't know. I've never been pregnant.
But Canadian American superstar Rihanna has revealed that she's enjoying her current pregnancy more than the first one. The pregnant singer disclosed this in a side interview with Entertainment Tonight. She said it was different from the first one, stressing that she's more energetic. She said it's so different. No cravings, no tons of nausea. Everything is different, but I'm enjoying it. I feel good. I feel energetic. On why she rushed into getting pregnant a second time in barely 2 years since her first child, Rihanna replied, I'm in love. I'm obsessed. And I don't even feel guilty about it. Oh, Momo.
Why should anybody feel guilty about being a mother?
Well,
Rihanna is living the best life.
Exactly.
She's one of those celebrities that I adore.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
I have great love for Rihanna.
But Moses gave you this expose. He didn't give it to me. Moses, why?
Well, I have a crush on Rihanna actually.
Wow.
I mean, she doesn't. I just love the fact that she's natural.
He's under Rihanna's umbrella.
Oh well, she's somebody's property. In
Yeah.
quotes now, she's married.
Yeah.
So yeah, she should enjoy herself.
That's true. All right, and that's what we have for you right here on VOP this morning. All right, remember to follow us on YouTube, subscribe, Voice of the People TV, and of course on other social media outlets at VOP TV Live. My name is Esther Wanchuku.
And I am Moses Humphrey. Have yourself a beautiful day and try as much as you can to eat healthy
That's true.
and stay alive. Bye for now.
Bye.